Good evening, VV Nation. My name is Ryan. Welcome to the channel. Now, it's my pleasure always giving these videos, right? I only get 2 videos a week. So this video is going to be on a very important topic right now. I know a lot of people are interested in these 2 positions. One of them report earnings come Thursday. Now, both of these stocks have wild cards, right? And by wild cards, I mean, they can be thrown curveballs at any time. Both of these stocks are affected by China. One affected by DeepSeek. We saw the drop in Nvidia. That's going to be the first stock today. Quite a bit, right? Hopefully some of my shorts put you on the right side of that trade. We'll continue that trade later in the video. We're going to look at a lot of charts, right? The other stock, Apple, right? The Chinese consumer, Huawei. That's the wild card when it comes to Apple, right? Now, both of these stocks have been pulling back. Apple broke its downward trend line, right? So there's a lot of optimism there when it comes to Apple. I like the candlesticks I see. Nvidia, a little bit rocky of a situation, and obviously that just unfolded, so we're still seeing how the dust settles, especially with the Federal Reserve interest rate decision. We got big earnings after the bell today. Big earnings come tomorrow, so I'm not going to try to predict these movements, but you know what I do? I always put some nice levels on here, look at some charts, try to keep you on the right side of the trade. So tonight's presentation, we're going to go over a couple different chart patterns, and for those people that are new to investing, I really try not to overcomplicate things, right? So one of those chart patterns is going to have no indicators, and we're just going to look at some simple lines, simple levels, right? And in tonight's presentation, I would recommend sticking around for a little bit, because I'm not just going to show you where these lines are, I'm actually going to show you why I put these lines in these places. And you can use this, this tactic or whatever you want to call it, this chart analysis on any chart out there. We're going to be looking at trend lines, support, resistance zones, right? So these are where these lines are going to come from. So let's go ahead and dive in and see if Apple and Nvidia is a good time to be bottom fishing, right? Is this dip worth it? And which stock would the VectorVest 7 system and myself say is the better dip to buy? So stick around and let's find out. With the results coming in from Google, like iPhone shipments dropped 25% in the 4th quarter of last year. The concern, the Chinese consumer, right? Huawei, the Chinese consumer and even the government is pushing non-American phone technology, right? We've seen some of those headlines come up talking about, government employees not allowed to have iPhones or, anything American based anymore. They have to have the Huawei. Hey, is what it is. But if we look here, this is causing a lot of issues with the analyst, right? Apple downgraded by Oppenheimer. This was just an hour ago we see here. Look, slow China market shrinks as well. Look, another article from Barron's, China, right? That's the worry here. Investors Business Daily has an analyst coming out. Apple stock downgraded to sell. All the concerns are about their huge Chinese market shrinking ever so rapidly, right? As the world becomes more polarized going forward. Now, when it comes to Nvidia, yes, DeepSeek threw the whole world a curveball, and who knows what information we can really trust. All I can trust is what the market responds. You can see all the articles up here up at the top. Not so good when it comes to Nvidia. But if I scroll down, look at this. They're running out of chips, right? Their chips are still in demand. Even if China is not allowed to necessarily have them, it sounds like, and the rumor is, they're still getting them, right? They still have to pay for them. They're not going to be free. So I don't see Nvidia, really struggling too much. But Nvidia being in a very AI-driven space, this landscape can change ever so quickly, right? And that's just the reason why we saw almost $800 billion shed off Nvidia in just one day. Now, I'm not going to say this any clearer than I can right now. With the Fed decision today, big earnings after the bell today and tomorrow. Tomorrow, again, we have Apple, right? There's going to be a lot of volatility. So if you just go ahead and jump on in, hey, that's up to you. But the VectorVest 7 software right now does not advocate buying any stocks right now. So if you do bottom fishing, very aggressive and make sure you stay on top of the trade. We can see both of these stocks are down today. Nvidia down 2%, Apple down 1.25%. Now, if we take a look at the valuation, right? Nvidia trading currently 125, somewhere around there. Value 155, right? Undervalued. Love it. Apple, you're paying for a premium right now. Look, 235. We value the stock at 140. Now, we don't go off the hype. These are time-tested value formulas here. If you YouTube just stock market cycles, stock valuation by Dr. Bart DeLito, great video, probably one of my favorite videos out there. It's got a lot of math in it, so it's not that exciting. But if you really want to understand this valuation and make some money in the market going forward, definitely check out that video. Next up is the RV relative value. Now, these several indicators here, RV to VST, 0 to 2 scale. Above 1 is favorable, below 1 is unfavorable. It's an oscillator, right? So the further you get away from that, 1, which is the oscillation point, the further the magnitude or the better the favor, right? So we take a look at RV. This is long-term price appreciation compared to an alternative investment in a AAA corporate bond with, bonds and rates pretty high right now. Look, Nvidia, great number, 1.85. This might just be one of the highest in the database. Apple, not so much. It's not even favorable. It's below 1, 0.87. So yes, Nvidia wins there and on the valuation. When it comes to the safety, both of them are some of the safest stocks in the database here. Nvidia does beat it at 1.47, but look at the timing here, RT relative timing. This is our technical indicator, right? Looking at the short-term price trend, is it favorable? Nvidia, not favorable, still in a downtrend technically. If you look at Apple, it is in an uptrend, and it just got into that, right? RT just crossed above 1 here. We'll take a look at it on the chart, 1.01. I do like that. So as far as a technical standpoint, yes, I like Apple better. As far as everything else, fundamentals, things of that nature, Nvidia, clearly the winner here. If we take a look, VST, this combines all of these attributes together from value, safety, and timing. 1.41 does beat Apple. Both are favorable, but Nvidia's on top. If we look at the recommendations here, we got to sell on Nvidia, and Apple does have a hold right now. Now, these recommendations, the formula is the same for every stock in the database. 13-week moving average adjusted for the company's fundamentals, right? That's our stop price because Nvidia has gone below our stop price, which if we take a look here, if I scroll over to the right, you see it's 127. So if Nvidia can get back above this 127 here, the hold or even the buy rating will come into place because it does have strong fundamentals. So Apple coming at a hold rating right now just because it's been on the downtrend, coming out of that downtrend that we saw. But look at the forecasted data. Nvidia smokes it, right? Double digits across the board. Apple at 6% each for both sales growth rate and forecasted earnings growth rate. Look at the market cap. I mean, both of these companies here, multi-trillion-dollar companies. They're not going to go anywhere anytime soon, right? But we want to see which of these stocks is the better position. Right now, just looking at these indicators, I like Nvidia more as the investment, Apple more for the trade. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at these charts and break them down so we can really get a better understanding of which of these companies is the better option. Now, if you're familiar with this graph layout, this is the near perfect indicator. Those stop prices that I was mentioning before, this utilizes moving averages and moving averages of RT relative time. And just to break it down real simple, Nvidia, right? This looks at trend up top, these two moving averages. We just lost a trend. If we look down below, we got RT here. This is more of a trigger, more for swing trading kind of thing. We don't even have a trigger right now. So I can't get behind Nvidia when it comes to the technical analysis, at least as far as that graph layout. Even Apple, look, lost the trend, trigger not there. Rather aggressive jumping in. Yes, if you got in, obviously I like, a downward trend line break. Hey, would have done a great quick option trade or a quick swing trade here. As far as follow through, we're going to get in today's candlestick in just a moment. First up is Apple. I'm going to take a look at the forecasted data and see the trend of it, right? Look at the earnings per share on the rise, nice, steady stair-step fashion. I do like that. Growth rate and earnings, it did rise over here. If we take a look, 6%, but if we notice the decline over the last few months, look, we went around 8%, now down to 6%. And the sales growth rate actually started negative this year to finish at 6% as well. Pretty flat over the last, 6 months or so. But again, the forecasted data, mixed results here because China is the wild card, right? If we take a look at earnings per share on the rise, just as Apple, but look at the growth rate in earnings. A big rollover here and actually lower than it was 12 months ago. I am concerned about that, but still sits at 45%, which is impressive. And look at the sales growth rate, right? 94% on the decline, both of these items here, but still astonishing double-digit numbers. Now, here's Nvidia over the last 3 months. We see today's price action, right? Staying within the body of yesterday's big bullish candlestick. The zone here, look, the zone I had, that's right where the buying pressure came in at. You can see the open here with an open body candlestick. The buyers did come to the rescue. Now, I'd like to see price action stay above this zone. If we get back into the zone here, I do see it being a very big concern for the bulls. Now, as far as some resistance, this is going to be the first level of resistance here, looking around 129.50. I want to get a break above this. Now, to explain how and why I put these lines here, let me use my date line. You can see the consolidation from back here. This is exactly where I got my lines from in the first place. You can see the zone here right in the middle. You see a lot of touches on this bottom line here and a lot of touches to the upside on the top of this line. That's why I say this consolidation zone, this is a great zone to look for when it comes to buyers and sellers. Now, the common theme with these lines, they're all connected, just like how you would draw support resistance lines. That's exactly what these are, right? So I really want to treat them like zones. You can see the touches from the top here as well, but also touches from the bottom. That's where I get these zones. These zones are very crucial for trading, investing, just to get a sense of where buyers can come for the rescue or where sellers can come in to potentially ruin a bull run. I wanted to put these on your attention. As well, you see I have a downward trend line here, right? You see price action struggling. Every time it broke this trend line, struggled to remain above it. You see the sell recommendations coming into place once it broke down below. Nice gap down here. Now, if we could get above this 129 level, right? What does that tell me the market wants to do potentially? Fill the gap, right? So to get any kind of confirmation, definitely take out yesterday's high if you're not already in this position. And if you are in this position, I mean, my cutoff level is going to be somewhere around the support level. If I was just to zoom back and assume where we could potentially find another level of support, if I use a freehand line here, I mean, this is obviously going to be the first one that comes to mind. We got a zone right here, and that's from around $96 to $101. I tell you what, if Nvidia dropped below $100, probably going to buy some Nvidia, right? But this is where I could see the zone. You know, I see consolidation right around here as well. So we see another gap here. So it is very gappy. I could see why investors could get nervous if price action or break the zone. But again, it's going to be the curveballs that come out with AI technology going forward. Now, when it comes to Apple, it was a clear descending trend line here, broke it come Monday. Again, the optimism on such a down day. That's one of the reasons why I made it short about this position here, because I had a feeling it would be a nice quick day trade. But even from an investment standpoint, hey, I like this price way better than I like 260. But again, if we take a look at valuation, the company is still overvalued and the value is actually on the decline. And look at price action, just hit a new swing low. So I am concerned when it comes to Apple. There's a lot of wild cards here, and earnings is tomorrow. If you're not in Apple, probably wait till after the earnings, right? Wait till after the dust settles. I don't think it's going to jump up too much. I'd be more concerned about it going down than anything. So if I zoom out to a 6-month time span, let's take a look at some levels here. Now, we did have a breakout occur after this consolidation period. Now, if I use a horizontal line, the first line I'm going to look at is right about here. You can see several touches from the bottom here. If I go to a 1-year chart, imagine there's some from the top. Yep, there goes some from the top here. So I do like this level, maybe a zone, probably somewhere in here. If I had to guess, we get a level of support. That would be nice. But look, the buyers already came in right at the zone here. At no surprise, that's where we found some buying pressure and off to the races. So if you're in this as a trade, as an investor, whatever it may be, hey, if it breaks below the zone, you're looking around 214 to 218. Definitely would be concerned about that, because if it broke this zone here, I mean, obviously the stock is way overvalued. If it started to pull back anymore, probably Chinese concerns if I had to guess. If we take a look, if I zoom back anymore and I use a horizontal line, we do see some touches on this level right here, both from the bottom and from the top here, and that'll bring it down to about 197. Now, as far as the top end, I mean, yeah, you got the prior high here. If I want to take a look here, like horizontal line, boom, that's the level I really want to get above here to get any kind of confirmation. It's 236. Right now, we're pretty close to that, right? You might be able to get confirmation. Obviously, this video comes out tonight. Depending on what the Fed has to say, we're either going to get that confirmation by tomorrow and you got a good trade setup, or if it does pull back, and again, we have earnings tomorrow, I could see potentially a gap down to this level here. Otherwise, if it does break this to the upside here, yes, we could get a gap to the upside as well. But right now, with downgrades in the news and China in the picture, I'm a little bit more pessimistic than optimistic when it comes to Apple. I'm not saying don't buy it, but just saying that there's a lot of risk involved when it comes to this position just before earnings. Now, as far as my analysis, right, when it comes to the VectorVest 7 software, Nvidia was the winner, right? Higher VST rating, higher RV by far, safety rating, in just about every category, and it is undervalued. Now, when it comes to my opinion, I do think Nvidia will be the better pick. Yes, obviously I know about DeepSeek and AI concerns, but their chips are still number one. And of all of this talk, about potentially cheaper chips being able to utilize for AI purposes, I would think AMD would jump on that opportunity, right? The market not seeing that opportunity. I see AMD around 114. Again, if you like AMD, great opportunities probably gonna present themselves soon. I might do a video on that soon. But otherwise, right now, the focus is on Nvidia, and I do like Nvidia when it comes from a bottom fishing perspective, right? Buying this dip. Now, I hope everybody found this video informative, and I hope, showing you how I put these levels on the charts, gives you a good sense of, pivot points, confirmation levels, things of that nature to help keep you on the right side of the market. That combined with the VectorVest indicators, hey, that is success in my opinion. Now, hopefully you found the video informative. If you did, hit that subscribe button, like the content. That way it'll show up in your algorithm a little bit more.